2 hours ago this. Monster Category 5 Hurricane Beryl. Beryl towards Jamaica. Where's my Jamaican people? Where's my fellow Jamaican people? I want to know if you guys are prepared for the hurricane and what sort of preparation you put in place. What and what you do. You went shopping, you button up, you whatever. You know, come on, let's chat. Who want to hear what go on? I know when it's hurricane, when hurricane come in our way, like in Jamaica, you have to button up the window then with plyboard. You have to button up this, you have to button up that. If you have zinc roof, you have to put block on them, something for hold on the zinc, even though sometimes that not work. If the breeze come and want to take off the zinc, it go take off the zinc them and gone with them. Yeah. Just like when Hurricane Gilbert, you know, I was traumatized with Hurricane Gilbert when part of a section of our roof lifted up by the breeze. Yeah, I was traumatized. I was traumatized that day. You understand, with Hurricane Gilbert. You understand what I say? Yes. Cause that day them eat, eat me look overnight Sunday, Monday. Yeah, me remember me that eat me look rice and peas and pork. Yeah. And Hurricane Gilbert take off my roof, a part of my roof, and water come down in our pot. I barely see, I was traumatized. You hear me say? So I want to know how you Jamaicans preparing now for this hurricane that heading towards Jamaica. You know, but sorry for poor 18, because once Jamaica get the hurricane, them are going to get it too. You understand? Because remember, say, like, we're neighbors down there, so them are going to get it as well. Yes, I know, and look at thing go 80, mash up 80, and then look at something there like last time and all these things. So I just wanted to know how you guys are preparing for the hurricane. If you button up, if you go shopping, because I hear saying enough people don't there shopping now. Them a shop. So many people them a lick out and I say, and when the government them want them friend them sell out them even food them that they also if you get your new stock, yeah, them bad about hurricane a come. Yes. Cause I wouldn't have the money, you know. You have to either borrow the money, cause you have to stock up on dry goods, water, candle, kerosene oil, and you have to have your lamp and all these things. Yes. Why them people always a come on for you so well? No speak, nothing English. Why do I want always a come on and always quick for come on, come comment, you know? On the top, come over here, man. Come in and understand nothing one else comment say, you know. Not come over here. I tired of take off some man off here. Sure, this live, we should have make, sure, we should have do it as a members only, but I know I not have a lot of Jamaica over here, so that's why I don't do it like that. So I want to know how you guys are preparing for the hurricane. If any Jamaican on the live, or maybe later on when you watch the live, you can comment and let me know how you guys are preparing for the hurricane, right? Because even I live in America right now. Me live here. I have my curtain and my lamp them put on one side and one corner, somewhere on one part. You understand? Me have my curse now, because I'm not gonna be like the 10 virgin now. 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. Me not gonna be like them virgin there. So me have my kerosene oil and my lamp and my lamp shade and me have my flashlight them and everything. So you see any little thing, me have them they can light up. You understand? Me have them they can light up to get little light. You understand what I say? So I just want to know how you guys are preparing. Because if I was in Jamaica now, so for instance, if I was there now, I would try my best because time like now when them say hurricane a come, all the supermarket them pack. You have to have a giant line for going to the supermarket them the way all them pack everybody a shop to pick up what them can pick up dry goods and stuff. Can things and them something there, you understand? Cause sometimes the power gone and you can't cook or anything, especially some people if them have electric stove. Right? If you have gas stove now, you can still cook your local food while the hurricane are going. You understand? Yeah, but may I tell you, Chai? Hurricane, earthquake. Well, the hurricane not so bad because at the end of the day, you can track like the storm or a hurricane or whatever it is. But it's like a hurricane, what name, earthquake. tornado or tsunami or them sitting there. Them they not have no warning. You can't track them. Them just happen so. Yeah, they just happen. So when you can track the hurricane and say, okay, they are Bahamas there so, next it I go head there so, it I go head here so, it I go head there so, right? You can do that, you can track it, but when of them other disaster then you cannot track it. My heart. Should I take up my other my little fan over there so me don't know, but as me say, if the live even end later on, you guys can come on and comment and let me know about the preparation for the hurricane. Right? Major hurricane Beryl watch for Jamaica. Alright. Alright, let me get the update.
Good afternoon and welcome to the midday news. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Hurricane watch issued for Jamaica as Hurricane Beryl approaches. Caribbean islands already feeling the impact from Hurricane Beryl. And later in sports, Reggae Boys head coach resigns. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here are the details. A hurricane watch has been issued for Jamaica as Hurricane Beryl barrels through the Eastern Caribbean. Principal Director of the Met Service of Jamaica, Evan Thompson, made the announcement this morning.
Major hurricane Beryl is now in the Eastern Caribbean and continues to move toward the west-northwest. Almost due west, but slightly north of due west, moving into the Caribbean. That motion is expected to continue during the course of today and going through tomorrow. The system should move into the Central Caribbean by then, and then start moving closer and closer to Jamaica. The current projected path takes the center of the system just off the south coast. However, there is a chance that the center could actually pass over Jamaica or even further from the southern coastline. And so we are watching, monitoring very closely. We will continue to monitor and, of course, update the Jamaican people about the latest position of this major hurricane. It is expected on moving into the Central Caribbean to be reduced in intensity somewhat because conditions are not very favorable in the Western Caribbean to sustain the major hurricane. However, by the time it passes Jamaica or passes over Jamaica, it is still likely to be a hurricane and possibly a major hurricane.
Wow.
And there are reports of damage to roofs and persons in shelters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As we hear in this report from Dion John of NBC Radio, the effects are expected to continue into this afternoon.
They see the raging. Very high swells. The winds have intensified, and I noticed that on mainland St. Vincent, in capital Kingstown, where we actually are, the winds have intensified significantly, howling to be exact. And on the east coast, the seas are also raging. We are seeing and hearing reports of some houses having lost their roofs. I can't speak to how extensive is that damage in terms of giving you a count in relation to that, but videos are circulating as it relates to that. The rain in Kingstown, where we are, is not as intense as probably some of the rural communities. So we depend significantly on reports from the National Emergency Council. Earlier on, when we checked in, there were in excess of 1,000 persons in 59 shelters located across the country as well.
Meanwhile, preparations are already in high gear. That's according to Acting Director General Richard Thompson. He was speaking on Power 106 Monday.
In a dramatic and rapid development, Tropical Depression Beryl surged to hurricane status on Saturday afternoon, with winds escalating to 75 miles per hour in just 24 hours. Since then, Beryl has strengthened further, becoming a major Category 4 hurricane. The National Hurricane Center warns of potential storm surges, heavy rainfall, and strong winds, emphasizing the need for prompt evacuations and necessary precautions. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, says it has been conducting intensive planning meetings as it anticipates the impact from Hurricane Beryl.
The information that we have been getting in terms of track is for it to pass a little bit south of us. However, there is still some uncertainty there given some of the prevailing atmospheric condition in this side of the Caribbean. So we will have a better picture come tomorrow in terms of what we perceive the track to be. But when you look at the cone that a lot of persons will see that is generated by the meteorologist, as the system passes, it's within that cone, the system can go anywhere within that cone.
Mr. Thompson says Jamaica could also be impacted by another system that has been formed and is not far from Hurricane Beryl.
Cuba, which is very close to us, was impacted twice in under 3 weeks by back-to-back events. So it can happen, and the preparation throughout the region, even with those planning meetings that we have been having as well with SEDEMA, throughout the weekend in looking at what is happening in the Eastern Caribbean and what will happen on our side, is to say that yes, we can. There's a strong possibility that we might have back-to-back hit within probably a week.
But he assures that shelters are ready and equipped to accommodate those in need. Kerry and Simpson, TVJ News.
The National Works Agency is also on high alert. It says several locations have been identified for attention and teams on standby.
Among the locations that we are giving attention is the Sandy Gully, the lower section of the Sandy Gully in St. Andrew. We're also looking at the silt traps in the north and south gullies in Montego Bay. The contractor working on the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, SSHIP, between Harbour View and Port Antonio. We have identified some locations and we have asked that those locations be checked and whatever steps or action is required, that these things are done before we start to experience the rains or any impact from the hurricane.
You won't believe how old she is.
Excuse me? I asked people who are real.
All right. So, that is it. I seems like the Jamaica now watch it for tell me if them prepare or them not prepare for the hurricane.
Is urging citizens to be prepared. Kingston Mayor Andrew Swaby says he's currently assessing the city's infrastructure to identify potential vulnerabilities and take necessary precautions to mitigate flooding and other hazards. Additionally, arrangements are being made to provide shelter and support for the homeless population.
We didn't have a whole summit on the homeless population. What we are trying to find some locations. For example, there's a temporary location at Church Street that can accommodate about 200 of them. We will encourage them to go to that center.
You'll be reopening that?
Yeah, actually, that was a center that we had during COVID, and we'll be reopening that now.
Yeah.
KSMC Chief Executive Officer Robert Hill confirmed that the Emergency Operations Center will be activated today to coordinate the response efforts.
We're going to be having staff on shift who have been previously trained on shift throughout the existence of the center itself, and we provide the hotline numbers I previously mentioned. Also want to ensure that persons pay attention to the newscasts, pay attention to the information coming out of the Kingston and St. Andrews Corporation, as well as the Met Office and ODPEM and other national agencies for credible information that can help you amidst the disaster that is impending.
Meanwhile, local government minister Desmond McKenzie, speaking at a press conference a short while ago, also spoke about the country's readiness. Mr. McKenzie says the government is not short on resources, human or otherwise.
Found itself in a position where we have to be searching for resources. The National Disaster Fund is presently at over 500 million. Never before the country has had that level of resources to respond.
And Environment Minister Matthew Samuda says he will ensure there is no water lock-off during this time.
An adjusted regulation schedule for communities that do face regulations, because ultimately we know that there is a potential timeline which everyone will speak to shortly, but that timeline will force us to change water supply schedules to make sure that Jamaicans all have a chance to fill their tanks and storage in the eventuality that the storm does come and does affect us particularly negatively. So just to alert that members of citizens are to look out for those notifications from the National Water Commission mid-afternoon. But over the next 36 hours, we'll be ensuring that every community is indeed served so that they're able to fill and prepare properly for any water disruptions.
The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation also toured 7 flood-prone communities recently.
So some of the areas along the coastline we look at, we went to the Cooper Drain out in 8 miles, where we would have seen the sandbar backed up the drain, so the water cannot flow freely. So we will be opening up those sandbars so the water can flow freely from the drain to the sea. Also, we looked at a recurring issue right at Harbour Drive and Sir Florian Glasspool Boulevard, where the drains would have, where the block drains would have resulted in excessive flooding due to the inability to run off. We also stopped at Hyoman Street and Harbour Street for drains, and it affects you and me whenever the road.
It had food in a box and the box with.
Alright, that is that. Preparing for Hurricane Beryl. Andrea shop for Hurricane Beryl. Andrea, there's no market a shop. Yeah. People them just have to go get up them stuff, them water, all the necessary things that they need, for this hurricane. And enough of them in that hurricane I go and them a run out of door where them are gonna look and them are gonna record. And I know say I risk them life. You understand? I know how dangerous that is. But that's Jamaican overall, that's how them stay. Then they know they're in danger. You understand? Alright. Maybe later on when the Jamaican them come on, they will see the live and they will comment and let me know how are they preparing for the hurricane. Alright, people. Later. Oh, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber, okay? And please turn the post notification bell on, that when I go live or I do a new upload, you'll be the first one to know, okay? Thank you for watching again. Have a God bless rest of the day. All right, bye.